During GTA 4, or more precisely during the beginning of Niko's adventure in Liberty City, players receive from time to time a handful of information relating to the great conflict between Niko Bellic and Ray Bulgarin, who, according to Niko, is a real monster and has gotten under his skin in the past. Initially, the man's cooperation promised to be fruitful, but due to an unfortunate turn of events during a certain task in Europe, Niko had to save his ass, generating a serious debt in Ray's mind in return.
Hello, Mr. Bulgarin.
Where is our money?
I don't know. I didn't rob you.
Really?
We were busted a mile off the coast. I had to swim for my life. I don't know what happened. I nearly drowned.
Huh. My heart is bleeding.
This unfavorable event led to many unpleasant circumstances. Niko, saving himself from Bulgarin's anger, was pushed against the wall and had to decide to leave Europe, eventually going to Liberty City, which seemed to be the perfect place to live. After all, a large metropolis inhabited by many people is a good idea. It's easy to blend in with the crowd and cover up any traces. Moreover, Roman was supposed to be waiting for Niko there, as he supposedly basked in luxury and was happy to share his prosperity with his cousin, as he mentioned to Niko in many emails. However, everything turned out to be one big lie.
So, you full of crap or what? What? Where's luxury condo? Where's sports car? Where's Barbara with big titties and Stephanie who sucks like a vacuum?
What are you talking about?
In your letters to my mother, in your letters to me, all I hear about is Mr. Big, Mr. Roman, living the American dream. Sports cars, condos, women, money, the beach, opportunity. I come here, and the only thing big about your life is the cockroaches.
As time has shown, Ray Bulgarin did not forget about Niko at all, and even found an opportunity to quickly find him. However, there's definitely something missing in this whole thread. While for a very long time, the player sees with his own eyes how another antagonist of the game, Dmitry Raskolov, is trying to kill Niko in cold blood, it's completely different when it comes to Bulgarin. The plot implies that Bulgarin had completely forgotten about Niko, focusing on completely different things, which we also witness in the GTA The Ballad of Gay Tony. It's no different in terms of whether Niko wants to get Bulgarin. Niko eventually deals with Dmitry, but completely ignores the conflict with Ray. We don't even witness Niko raising this issue anywhere and, for example, mentioning to Roman what his plans are regarding Bulgarin, whether he intends to continue hiding from him or maybe he will want to find and kill him. Absolutely nothing is known about this. And here, the main question of this episode arises, namely, why all this time Niko was not trying to get Bulgarin in any way and did not want to close this not very pleasant chapter of his life. For many of us, this is very strange because during the storyline, Niko gains really powerful connections, the best example of which is the United Liberty paper, which found the famous Darko Breivik for Bellic. In case you don't remember, he messed up Niko's life in Europe by exposing friends of the main character to certain death.
Make strange choices.
Fuck you! Strange choices! How much?
1,000.
You killed my friends for $1,000.
How much do you charge to kill someone?
You ruined me, you fuck!
It would seem that, in this case, all Niko needs to do is more favors for the agency, and then he'll be able to ask for something again, in this case for help in finding Bulgarin. That's true, but for some reason, the main character didn't decide to do it. Which one? Well, as it turns out, there could actually be many reasons. The first one that immediately comes to mind is that Roman asked Niko Bellic not to try to look for Bulgarin and to just forget about it. After all, Roman had the opportunity to influence Niko's decision in some instances. Roman told his cousin at the end of the hostile negotiation mission that Niko should give up and stop fighting the Russians.
Stop spending all our money!
Yes.
Thank you!
And stop thinking about the Russians. Man, we just need to disappear as far as they're concerned. Disappear!
Okay, but I want Florian and Darko. I need to know what happened. Give me that.
Fine, but leave the Russians alone!
It would even seem that the matter could end here. After all, the explanation is clearly presented there on the ropes. Roman is the reason why Niko decided to not look for revenge on Bulgarin. However, Roman more often had no influence on what Niko would do. Perhaps the perfect example here is at the end of the game, when Niko asks his cousin what he should do regarding the proposal to cooperate with Dmitri.
This is serious, Roman. I have been asked to work for Dmitri Reskolov again. There could be a lot of money in it.
I heard you two had resolved your differences. He's on some boat in East Hook, right?
What, you knew about this? He's on a boat in East Hook?
Yeah, I heard you had forgiven him and were working together. You're doing this deal, right?
Now that I know where Dmitri is, I might just go there and take him out instead. Have you forgotten that he burned down your apartment and business? That he arranged your kidnapping?
Now I have a better apartment, and I'll have an even better one if you work with him again! Promise me you won't do anything hasty, cousin.
I have to think about it.
Even though Roman clearly suggests Niko to work with Dmitri again, we know that Niko eventually goes against Roman's will. Or at least everything points to this, when we look at which ending of GTA 4 is canonical by taking GTA 5 into account. Anyway, bearing all this in mind, we know that Roman told Niko to give up fighting the Russians. And yes, Roman's request could have been the key reason, but not necessarily. Moving on, the next reason why Niko did not want to look for Bulgarin could have been the fear of possible consequences, as well as learning a lesson from the events in Hove Beach. The point here is that Niko Bellic, remembering that Ray Bulgarin has powerful connections, could simply have concluded that killing Bulgarin may not end this chapter.
A man in Europe, another Russian. Bulgarin. He lived on the Adriatic. Believed I owed him money when I did not. It made my life impossible. There was no avoiding him.
Did you deal with him like you did Darden and Bleeder?
He had too many connections for that. I had to leave. He is one of the reasons I came here.
Ray Bulgarin may be one of the most important figures in the Russian mafia, but it's not certain that there is not someone else standing over Ray. By the way, a very similar situation happened when Niko was living with Roman in Hove Beach. Niko Bellic theoretically killed the influential Vlad, who, as it turned out later, was just a pawn in the hands of Mikhail Faustin.
Niko Bellic, you think it's okay to kill my employees?
If he is an asshole, yes.
I agree. Now listen, Niko Bellic. You are very lucky Vlad was an idiot. The only reason I keep him around is because I fucked his sister.
Niko Bellic could have given up on trying to find Bulgarin, knowing that it might not change anything. Niko might have thought that Bulgarin might have many influential friends who would want to avenge their comrade's death. To make a long story short, life in fear will never end, at least until Niko kills someone in the high table, as it was presented in the John Wick movies. Going further, we should return to the issue of Bulgarin not trying hard to look for Niko Bellic. Dmitri Raskolov was the one behind all the bad things that happened to the Bellic cousins. We're talking about the fire at a flat in Hove Beach, or at Roman's taxi company.
I've got nothing left! Not my home, not my business, nothing! They took it all!
I'm sorry, Roman. I'm really sorry, but we have to go.
However, Bulgarin himself, at least from the point of view of the plot, did not take an active part here, as if he simply did not care, as if Ray was just hoping that maybe Dmitri would eventually take care of Niko. Although considering how successful he was at it and how poor Dmitri's effectiveness in the matter was, it's very strange that Ray didn't take it into his own hands at some point. Interestingly, when analyzing the storyline of GTA The Ballad of Gay Tony, we can come to the conclusion that Bulgarin was not actually focused on getting Niko Bellic. Quite the opposite. The cutscenes of the missions performed by Luis Lopez for Bulgarin suggest that his arrival in Liberty City was not solely determined by the desire to kill the protagonist of GTA 4. The plot of The Ballad of Gay Tony rather indicates that Ray's main goal in Liberty City was to make serious investments in the city, such as buying the Liberty City Rampage Hockey Club, acquiring a luxurious property in the Middle Park District, buying a valuable painting, obtaining collectibles related to rock music, or drug dealing.
You have heard about Liberty City. Rampage. The owner still will not accept my offers. I have been more than reasonable.
You mean after you killed this special team of cops? It's weird. You want me to negotiate with him?
No. The time for negotiations over. Do what needs to be done in his boardroom. Send a message.
Adding to Bulgarin's potential plans to buy the Maisonette 9 Club, it would seem that Bulgarin wants to stay long-term in the city, earning money on various investments. Of course, there's no way to deny that revenge on Niko Bellic could have been one of the more important reasons. But the plot shown in the add-on shows that Ray also had other plans, to which he devoted more time. After all, if Ray cared so much about getting Bellic, he would rather look for ways to find this man than hang out at the nightclub. Well, probably the last reason why Niko could stop looking for Bulgarin is the events that we saw in GTA The Ballad of Gay Tony. In short, Niko could not have had time to get his hands on Ray, who died at the hands of Luis Lopez. This makes perfect sense because Niko was a very busy person in GTA 4. There was always something going on in his life. Before Niko even had a moment to think about how to get Ray Bulgarin, it might have been too late because Ray's body was already lying at the bottom of the ocean. This also goes hand in hand with the fact that locating Ray's location must have been very difficult. This was another solid obstacle. After all, if it weren't for an unfortunate twist of fate regarding how Niko found out about Dimitri's whereabouts, the deal ending would have been the only possible one.
He's on some boat in East Hook, right?
What, you knew about this? He's on a boat in East Hook?
To sum it up a bit, it's clear that there were many reasons why Niko didn't get Ray. Unfortunately, it's difficult to determine which reason was the most important in all this. What quickly comes to mind is that the developer's solution, where Niko Bellic decides not to find and kill Bulgarin, simply makes no sense. After all, Niko from time to time mentions what happened in the Adriatic Sea. Those experiences left a mark on Niko's psyche and turned his life upside down. It seems strange that when Niko found out that Ray was in town, he did not look for revenge. Of course, we're not talking about the beginning of the storyline where Niko meant nothing, but we're talking about the moment when Niko already had serious connections. To make it short, this thread is very underdeveloped and leaves many question marks in the player's minds. Finally, let's take a look at non-plot reasons. One of the reasons for this is that Rockstar North already had plans to develop Bulgarin's story in one of GTA 4 DLCs. Bulgarin's thread had a lot of potential due to the way this man was presented in the game. In GTA 4, Bulgarin is an extremely mysterious character. Therefore, Rockstar could see the potential for players to be interested in developing this character's arc in DLC, which could have a positive impact on sales. However, although this decision seems to be quite well thought out, it leaves much to be desired. Many players were dissatisfied with this decision of the developers, and frankly speaking, there's nothing to be surprised about. After all, in GTA The Ballad of Gay Tony, Bulgarin does not seem to be presented as a powerful Russian gangster, as it follows from Niko Bellic's story and the overall plot in GTA 4. Many cutscenes in Bulgarin's apartment look quite absurd and humorous, which definitely doesn't match what we saw in GTA 4. All this shows how many inaccuracies there are in Bulgarin's story, and how badly the developers created this thread in the game. There's a chance that the creators forgot about Bulgarin at some stage of development in GTA 4, and in order to expand this thread, they decided to have the man die at the hands of Luis Lopez, thus slightly justifying the fact that Bulgarin's story ends in a strange way in GTA 4. Meanwhile, to learn more about the things that GTA 4, despite being a great production, does simply wrong, be sure to watch the video you can see on the left side of the screen. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.